So far, as of 2019 September, this is the best extension I've found for Visual Studio Code to automatically refresh your browser when you save files in Visual Studio Code. This is not using live server, it's just using a proxy through the browser. And so if you were already running a web server on your local machine like I am, live server was a real problem for me. It never worked. And a lot of that is geared towards people just working with static HTML files and doing design work, and that's fine for them. But if you're in a situation like I was, which I'm already running an execution program, an application that depends on other things, it doesn't matter what it is, then you're probably in that situation too, and you need this extension to get past all that BS with live server. Because I must have been through at least 20 or 30 of these extensions, and there's a lot of just garbage out there. They just suck. Let's just be honest about that. And so here's how it works. Here's what it is. It's VS Code Browser Sync, and it was made by this person, and I will link that in the description, because by the time you search on this thing, there's so much garbage out there, you might have a hard time finding it. So that's the one that it is. And so after you install that, then you just navigate like you would to any normal project. Just open up the folder and then get into your console, and then you'll have the you might not have it right away, but just type in browser and you'll start seeing these options. So browser proxy mode in I'm sorry, browser sync proxy mode in browser means it will open up in the browser. Browser server mode at side panel, that means it will start its own little server to the point where you can deal with static files, and so you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. You're getting that static environment that you can also reload from, and then so far I haven't gotten it to load on the side panel for either one of these, so maybe that's not so good, but my goal was to get it to work actually in Chrome, because what I find a lot of the times is when you're dealing with something that's loading in a window on the side, it just doesn't always work out. It's just never as clean as when you're using the actual browser. And so back to that, what I'm using here to get over to my environment, the server that I was already using, is sync browser sync proxy in browser. So click on that, and then it's going to ask you what was that originally. So this is my development environment. I just have a main root here called i7x, and this is one of my projects. I just call it VxBase. And so that was a web server that was already set up on my machine, and it was having conflicts. I couldn't get live server to work because live server kept forcing it to a port that was being a conflict, and localhost was having an issue with that. And so you get your original link that you were working on before you started this adventure into trying to do this, and then you have to just copy that from your clipboard. That's the first question that it asks, and it does give you an example. And so in this case, it already knows the answer, but you're going to get two prompts here. One of them will be for the URL, and one of them will be for the file path. So because I've already entered the URL, okay, so here I can open it again, and then I can show you that example. Then you'll get the second one, and then that's going to ask you what's the folder and files that you want to monitor. If you only want to monitor like CSS or whatever the file extensions, maybe PHP or whatever else you're doing, then you can specify that. But in this case, I'm just specifying a / because I want to monitor everything. I don't want anything to be bypassed or whatever, but that's up to you how you want to set things like that. And so after pressing that the second time, that will open up in this proxy port, and then you'll be in the 3000 series or whatever, and then anything I do in this folder, anything I type, anything I save, then that is automatically refreshing. And so let's just see some examples of that, like live server sucks. Okay, and so we can see that up here, live server sucks. It was just having constant conflicts with the other things that I had set up on this machine. And so that's it for this tutorial. It wasn't even a tutorial, it was just I struggled for hours and hours to try and get this, and I finally found this extension. Hope this helps you out.